Are you ready? Are you ready? Alrighty. Welcome to my channel. Everybody loves Juju. 1, 2, or number 12. That's what it stands for. Yeah. This channel is dedicated to the University of Southern California Lady Trojan, also known as the Women of Troy. I'm your host, Julie Juju Middleton. If this is your first time and you've never followed me on Instagram or YouTube, I also appear as a co-host on Cess Talk Sports Timeout with Juju and Cess, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. But I also show up for WNBA action, college action as well on Cess Talk Sports. But here I have my own channel. And again, just welcome. I'm glad to be here. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you excited as I am for this upcoming college NCAA women's season? Now, we've been watching the WNBA. We're pretty much been watching the WNBA since May, and it's been a while, right? It's been a while, and we've gotten all the drama, gotten through all the ups and downs. Our favorite teams, for some of us, didn't make it, and it came down to Minnesota Lynx and the Liberty. That action is just been unbelievable for those fans who think that it wasn't going to be exciting without the sensational Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever. Well, you're wrong. As long as the main thing is the main thing, which is to get that ball through the hoop with the best competitors as possible. If you're a lover of the sport, if you're a lover of the game, it doesn't really matter who's necessarily playing, because right now, women's basketball, women's sports in general, overall, it's just been overall super exciting. I have to say, I've been playing basketball. I have been playing basketball since I was, under 5 years old back in the day. I just came up, at a time when Title IX had just passed and women's sports was trying to reach its equality on all levels across the United States. I live in California, and I had the opportunity to play in the Bay Area, in the Silicon Valley, at San Mateo High School, where we won a championship in my senior year and advanced to the first round of the post playoffs, where we lost, but we won our championship game. My senior year, I was a scoring champion. I was a athlete of the year. I played 2 sports, which was really rare at that time. And I'm an elite dual sport athlete. In track and field as well as basketball. So I know a little bit of something. I came up at a time, I think in the 80s, was some of the best basketball players of all time. And when I think back to my class, especially with Cheryl Miller, people like Tina Hutchison, that freshman class was phenomenal. But the 80s in general was even more phenomenal, because at USC, when I entered college at the Cal State Northridge, prior to the year I arrived, it was AIAW, and it had just switched over to NCAA, and so this was going to be the first year that colleges had a chance to compete for an NCAA championship. And prior to that, Louisiana Tech, La Tech, with Kim Mulkey. Kim Mulkey, coach, yes, from USC. Deborah Rodman, Dennis Rodman's sister, played. Janice Lawrence was a big post player for their squad. And, a host of others were going up against, get this, at point guard, Rhonda Wyndham out of New York, freshman. At shooting guard, I guess we have, I'll probably say Cynthia Cooper was probably a wing player, but I would probably go ahead and give her the shooting guard position out of Locke High School in Los Angeles. Cheryl Miller, she was a sophomore, Cynthia was. Cheryl Miller, freshman, Riverside Poly. And Pam and Paula McGee out of Michigan. This was the squad that won our first championship for the Lady Trojan. And we proceeded to win another championship in the following year. But since then, we have not been, as fortunate. And although we've had some Hall of Famers come through, years after these Hall of Famers, in the likes of Lisa Leslie and Tina Thompson, unfortunately, we did not make the Final Four, nor did we win any championships. So what have we been doing? We've gone through a host of coaches. Some Michael Cooper, Cynthia Cooper. It's just not been our time. It's just not been our time. But however, now is the time. We got a young phenom. She's here. She's arrived. And she's gunning for a championship. This phenom, Juju Watkins, out of Sierra Canyon High in Chatsworth, California, has arrived to USC. And when she arrived, she came with accolades like California Miss Basketball, Miss California, Gatorade, national number one recruit in the nation, right? She's National Player of the Year. She's won championships at the high school level, open division, by the way. One was open division, and I think the other, I'm not sure which division that was. But nonetheless, Juju Watkins is prepared to take her team all the way. I personally feel that this team, with the addition of the number one transfer portal power forward Kiki Ariafen out of Stanford, originally from Southern California, Studio City, I believe that we can take this team all the way to the Final Four. And if we get within striking distance, I believe that the recruits that Coach Gottlieb, also affectionately known as Coach G, is going to take us all the way to the championship. Let's take a look at some of the players and what they look like in practice. And I'll walk you through. This year we have a returning players of Raya Marshall and Juju Watkins. Surrounding, we got Kiki Arifin. We have Ray Marshall, I mentioned that, right? Talia Oliphant out of Oregon State. We got played at the USA level with the likes of Joyce Edwards, freshman from South Carolina, Sarah Strong, the number one recruit, who was recruited and will be playing fresh as a freshman. Kennedy Smith out of Atlanta. She's going to be phenomenal. She brings a lot to the table for this team. She's won California State Championship. She's a McDonald All-American. As well as Juju. I forgot to mention that she's a McDonald All-American. Our schedule, our non-conference schedule, looks pretty good. They're going to be traveling to Paris November 4th. They play Cal Poly November 9th. But what we're looking forward to is November 23rd at the Galen Center. We'll be facing off with Notre Dame, also who had a phenomenal freshman from that played last year, Hannah Hidalgo, but returning Olivia Miles, Sonia Citron, Maddie Westbell, Kate was a coach, Liza Carlin, and Liatu King. But the names that are standing out with me are Hannah, Maddie, Sonia, and Olivia. The game right here is going to be, this game right here on November 23rd is going to be a barn buster. But Hannah Hidalgo averaged 22.6 points a game, 5 assists, 6.2 rebounds, and 4.6 steals. Pay attention to the steals. It's probably one of the highest steals in the country at 4.6. And she's only a freshman. Super lightning quick. On the 21st, get ready. We're gonna we're on a revenge tour. Kiki Arifin, Kennedy Smith, new to the game of the Lady Trojans, will be facing off with Paige Beckers, also known as Paige Buckets, and the number one recruit, Sarah Strong. And Connecticut. Paige Buckers will be starting fight. Could or could not look like AZ Fudd, who's returning off of injury. Let's see how she stands on her feet. KK Arnold and Caitlin Chin. She's a point guard that, I heard a lot about. Supposedly she's going to be really good. And Sarah Strong. These two games are going to be something to put your dollars down and come to the Galen Center for the Notre Dame game. And in Connecticut, tune your station into this UConn game. Pre-game average from last year, 21.9 and 3.8 assists. Paige had 5.2 rebounds and averaged 2.2 steals. Paige Buckets, not bad after being out for 2 years. Not bad. Next up this year, we are new to the Big Ten Conference. Our schedule is home games only. If you can see on the screen, home games are on the right, away games are on the left. They will not be playing certain teams twice. I know that we will probably be playing UCLA twice. UCLA being our rival school across town. So more than likely we'll be playing them. We'll be having the Battle of LA. Our LA Queens will be facing off with Kiki Rice returning, Lauren Betts returning, and Gabriella Jaquez returning. New to the team are Tamia Gardner, Janaya Barker, and Kendall Dudley. This game will be played on February 13th at the Galen Center and March 21st at Pauley Pavilion. So these are the players to watch when we play UCLA. And let me tell you, these games are always worth attending. One, because it's USC's rival. And UCLA, this is a rival game. So this is really big. And returning will be the 4.3% field goal percentage. She has 2 blocks a game, a 6'7". She should be having a little bit more, in my personal opinion. But hey, do your thing, Lauren. Next, here's our Big Ten schedule on the screen, home and away. Take a look. Oregon is also new to the Pac-10. Some of the away games will be Oregon, Rutgers, Maryland, Indiana, Purdue, Iowa, Wisconsin, Washington, and of course UCLA. Home games will be Michigan, Nebraska, Penn State, Northwestern, Minnesota, Ohio State, UCLA, again, Michigan State, and Illinois. Seen here in this shot right here, Talia Oliphant pulling up, Kelly Heckel. This team, I've seen a little bit of their practices, and I've seen them in form, and I've heard some of the some of the media interviews. And if you didn't know, Kiki Irvin can dunk. Here she is in this shot, dunking right here. They have a lot of chemistry. They've been working out together, um, getting their getting their chemistry together. I think mostly in the beginning is everybody locking in, trying to figure out where everybody likes, where their spots are, how well do they communicate on the court. They have a lot of young players in terms of freshmen, but as far as their starting five, I think that Juju and the and Kennedy and yeah, Juju. I think Juju and Kennedy, pretty much, if that's the starting five, are the youngest on the court as freshman and sophomore. But Juju, she's a sophomore that's very mature for her age. She has a court presence and an IQ that is really beyond her years. I mean, if I'll be honest with you, she can make an NBA draft and play in the league right now. Playing in the league right now. And she's only a sophomore. And I've seen a lot of ball players, and I've seen this league from its infancy, the WNBA. And I can rightfully tell you right now, she could definitely make a squad. It maybe even start on a squad that could use a 6'2" shooting guard for sure. So that tells me by Juju's junior and senior year, she would have no problem going number one. Now, some would say, arguably so, there are other players that in her class that are worth noting, taking a look at. I know they're going to be adding some expansion teams, even, by the time the class of 27 comes out. So we never know. She could, they may even change the rules and she's a franchise player on an expansion team, or she fits in well with another team that could use her talents. Let's just say this, because as you can see, number one is number one. Sometimes, you're the number one draft pick, basically based upon your gear that you had and your stats over the years, and even for that last year, your stats could be phenomenal. But like I said, there's Malaysia Fulwiley, Michaela Williams, Hannah Hidalgo. Um, there's a lot. There's a hot freshman class that's coming out at the same time as Juju. And depending on what that team who has a lottery pick needs, and also I think it would also depend on who the bigger box office draw is, right? It depends on who the bigger box office draw is. So, with that being said, I want to take us back to just talking about what we can look forward to in this upcoming season, and just how excited are you? How ready are you to check out the Lady Trojans? Because I know that I am. I know season tickets have went on sale. Single tickets will be going on sale very, very, very soon. Um, my hope is to gain uh, a following where we could watch the game together, do some stories on former players, or just people who are just interested in the game, who have a lot of knowledge that I've known for years, that just want to come up and watch the games together with me. Of course, we can't stream it to you, but you watch the game, I watch the game. You come into my home or my lounge, and you come into the chat, and you can, chop it up with me. We can talk about the game. We could talk about the crazy calls by the refs, whatever the case may be. But let's just form a family. Let's just form. Um, just follow me where you can find different, all kind of content on Juju. I'll keep you, updated on, where she lands, um, in scoring and assists and rebounding, how well the team as a whole is doing, you know, debate, whether they should be higher than number three. And I'd like to know from some of you guys, what do you think about that? Do you think that they should have been ranked higher than number 3, or are we even worried about rankings right now? Because I personally don't. I'm personally not concerned about the rankings, because I've seen this team go from as high as what, low as 21, and move its way up to at least 15 before knocking off a number 4 team, and they even knocked off eventually Colorado, who was at one point um, ranked number 2. So, and UCLA had been ranked, in the top 3. So it doesn't, and they did not make the Final Four as a result. But I mean, it doesn't really matter where where you start, is where you end up, right? That's what really matters. Although I would love to see us at the top and people gunning for us. But at the same time, I know this is a young team, and I know that they need to get used to each other. They don't have a lot of experience with, with one another, so I think they're going to be battle tested with the schedule that they have. I think it's a fantastic schedule. They're going to be traveling internationally, opening up in Paris, which is going to be really exciting. Playing SEC team, Ole Miss and Coach O. That'll be one of the first times I've seen in a long time. This team play an SEC team. And I think that that's going to be, a good test for them. And it'll be a great road trip. If any of you guys have played any organized sport at any level, anytime you have like away games, um, especially in college, uh, staying in the hotel and, having your pregame meals and breakfasts together, and your shoot around, and just having time hanging out together in between the game and after the games. It could really, you formulate a lot of memories at that time with one another. You learn, this generation is doing TikToks, and you know obviously uh, they probably got to get together and practice their TikToks. So that kind of thing is kind of like team building, skill building, and I find it very, very helpful, because it teaches rhythm. It teaches communication. You have to be on beat. The game of basketball to me is like poetry. So being on beat, knowing when you're next, and having a seamless transition uh, from one beat to another, or one person to another, with the ball passing, spacing, and all the rest. Yeah, trust me, these little things that they're doing with the TikToks, they go a long way. It goes further than, like, if you're an old school coach and you don't really understand it, what the chitter chatter is all about. Get out of the way. Let these young people, do their thing. Be young, and allow them the space to create, because really that's what basketball is all about. It's about creating and painting a portrait to win this game. And when you just step back and prepare them, the preparation is in practice. When you practice how you play, you just sit back, and then you just gotta watch the game, and help them make the adjustments, and make sure that that as a coach, that you're making sure that you're um, making the right substitutions, right? And and paying attention to your players, and when they need a break, because most competitors are never going to want to come out the game. Sometimes you're just going to have to force them to come out the game to take a break, and reassure them that they're going to go back in. But yeah, I just wanted to come on, and I just want to talk a little bit. I just want to introduce myself, and I wanted to say that I'm going to be getting a habit of coming on more often, just learning how to do this whole you know content creator thing, and hopefully I'll learn how to put up some stills behind me, and things like that. I can't wait to do that, and just you know get ready for this games to come up. We got a good 2 weeks or so, and I'm just so I just cannot wait. I'm just so excited. So thank you for listening. Thank you. Before you leave, please like, follow, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for any new updates that I might come with. I may anytime, I follow the game, the news pretty closely. So anything that I hear, any updates that I hear, you know, come here first to try to get it. And I'll see you soon. All right. Take care. Peace.